And I'm back. Am I back? Are we live? Yes. So I just had a call with my friend. So let me go back to Bitcoin. And where did I live? Where did I lift? So I was saying on the 5-minute chart, this is a trend line. I see that probably maybe could be tradable also this line, but I have not a strong feeling about trading them. It's probably not is not what I'm gonna do because it's a little bit wishy-washy here. I don't feel it. I want some bigger structures to break. For example, we have, if we connect these two lows, this low and this low, and now we probably might create something like this. This is what I would love to trade. If we then go up like this, make a second top and then break here, for example, then this is what I would like to trade, because this is also what would be visible on 1 hour, I believe. Yeah, on 1 hour we could also see it, but this little 5-minute structures as of now don't look too convincing to me. Of course they might work out. Let's go to 5-minute. They might very well work out like this after breaking this little pink trend line. For example, maybe here. Of course we might see some movement, but how much would it be? Let's see. Yeah, it would be 1%, but I don't know, somehow I'm not feeling it. Maybe later in the day, because also these lines, they're so close together, everything, and not too convincing. Okay, maybe later, but as of now, I don't want to see too much scalp stuff. Let's take a look at Cardano. First, okay, let me recap real quick what we see on Bitcoin. On Bitcoin, as you may know, I am always looking for huge trend lines like this king trend line. It went back like 20 days back, or no, 40 days back or something. We connected the highs on the 4-hour chart, and as soon as we broke it right here, we went up. Yeah, right here we went up. Also we had this little queen trend line. As soon as we break it, we usually we go up. So what is the next big trend line of this kind? It was this orange trend line. Seems to be the orange trend line, because if you connect these two highs on 4-hour chart, one is 20th of May, the other is 14th June, and this is exactly the point where we got rejected on both logarithmic scale and normal scale. So this is exactly the point where we had our rejection. Let me lower it. So this seems to be very important, and it might be creating some kind of W pattern, something like this. And if we break and close above it, then we might go up very strongly. But when will it happen? Might happen like this, might be happen like this, and then break. And yeah, we just have to wait and see. So this is on the macro scale the most important line to break right now, to look for if we want to continue being bullish. And but so far Bitcoin just went down all the way down to our little princess support line. It was the top of the rising wedge that we had, and then we broke out of it and had this move. So we just use it as a kind of support right now. If it doesn't break, we might create some new structures, or either a double top, like I said, like this, or even a double bottom, maybe something like this, and we could trade this as well. Alright, so this is Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Cardano. So yesterday I was asking myself this question, if we could have predicted this breakout. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because we had this big trend line. Let's see how far back it went. It was a 7-day long trend line that was broken, rising wedge, and then we went down. Oh, we did not get support. Like if you compare with Bitcoin got support on the lower wedge trend lines, but Cardano went even lower. And this is often the case with altcoins. They basically pump. If Bitcoin pumps, and if Bitcoin dumps, they dump again, but often they overshoot the upper target and the lower target. So Bitcoin goes down just a little bit, but they just crash more heavy. This happens sometimes. So this is why the trend lines on the altcoins are a little bit skewed sometimes, not always as reliable. Let's switch to 4 hour. You see, we went even lower than this trend line. Maybe I have to reset it like this. This on the 4 hour. Yeah, the trend lines on the altcoins, they are like amplified a little bit. Technically, we should have bounced off of this pink trend line and go back up again, like this, for example. This would be like a proper way to do it, because Bitcoin bounced perfectly from the rising wedge that it had, but altcoins, they overshoot a little bit. Okay, let me just add this line as well, so I have them both. Yeah, and let's go to the lower time frames. 1 hour. So on the 1 hour we have this trend line that we bounced off of. Can we trade something? Yeah, so we might look at it like this. So we have these two trend lines. Let me make them thicker. Super thick. We have these two trend lines. One going back to the lower, and this is the recent one. So we might be forming something like this, kind of head and shoulders style. And if we do it something like this maybe, and if we break both of those lines, then I think we would be heading down to the lower levels. And the first stop would be somewhere here, because we have this wicks here. So the previous lows are here. This would be one of the first stops. Then the next would be the bottom, of course. But 1.14, $1.14 or 15 cents might be something that we might be looking at if we really create this. If we really go and create this double top. So if we create, or a head and shoulders style, if we create it and break it, then yeah, like I said, the technical target is of course always higher, something like this. You just take the height of the head and shoulders, put it up on the breakout, and would be $1 something if it does break out. But very often it does not hit the full target, because it's gonna be bought up here at these levels and we never go lower. This might very well be, but this is something to look out for on the 1 hour chart. If we manage to create this head and shoulders, then yeah, and if we break it, then we might have to short Cardano. Okay, this would be the bearish scenario. What would be the bullish scenario? Well, obviously this could also have a double top structure, something like this, but we have to see it happen, to see it. I don't see it right now. Alright, go back to 4 hour. And it's always interesting to remember what happened last time we had this big head and shoulders. We went down like crazy. We could make stupid amount of money right here, but we didn't, because I saw it, but I thought to myself, oh, let me focus on Bitcoin, blah blah. I should not sleep on it. I should not be sleeping on it. So, because this was hell of a strong stuff. So again, if we see head and shoulders on Cardano, they seem to play out very well. And this would be our next head and shoulders. So if it plays out, then we might have to short it, baby. Okay, what else can I see here? So we have this trend line. Okay. Is it a rising wedge? Yes, it is, baby. This is a rising wedge that we just formed on Cardano. So if we go up from now, like it looks like we bounce from something, from some level. yeah, we probably just bounce from this little trend line here. So if we go all the way up, then the upper target, the upper limit, I would say, is somewhere here, 130, 140, because this would be the top of the channel, and at this point we most likely will have a stop, maybe a short wick up, then and then go back down. So inside this rising wedge, you see this pattern might happen, you know. So something like this, totally possible. But I don't trade the reversals yet. I don't really know how to do it. Right now I reverse the breakout. I trade the breakouts. For example, if we break this trend line and this head and shoulders, then it's quite a good idea to short, however with a tight stop loss, because it's dependent on Bitcoin, and the same to the upside. So on the 4 hour we just have to wait. On the 1 hour Cardano, we also have to wait. No tradable stuff right now. On the 15 minute, on the 15 minute, yeah, I think probably this might be a weak trend line. It's quite weak because I want to see, like I said, stronger trend lines to trade them. This is a little bit weak, so we're going sideways. Not really tradable for me. It's very similar to what Bitcoin is doing. And if we stay inside this channel, then we might have to watch out for this trend line. We connect these two tops, you see it might be kind of resistance, so we might go up like this and then go down. We will see, have to see. So on Cardano I don't see anything super that screams at me, trade me. I don't see anything like this. This is why I will do nothing on Cardano right now. It might reverse and go up, bounce and move inside this channel, but right now I'm trading only breakouts. So, and on the macro scale, let's look at the 1 daily. On the daily, oh, very interesting. We have this pivot trend line. Very interesting pivot trend line. We connect these tops, and as you can see, they are super strong. As soon as we break above it, we can trade it. If we, at this point, after breaking it on the logarithmic scale, we could just long it, and in a couple of days we would have some 7% long. But anyways, this looks like a pivot line, and this is exactly where we bounce. This is very interesting, and it's a little bit messy, but who cares? Actually, let me remove it just I want to see this only on the hour charts. What kind of trend lines can we add to this? Hey, this looks interesting. So we have this other, okay, maybe let me remove something. Remove this, all this unnecessary stuff. I don't think it's helping in any way. Let's remove all of that stuff. Okay, let me remove a couple of trend lines so it's not so disturbing. This I don't need. Alright, so now we should, no, it should be easier to spot, so let's go back to one daily Cardano and by the way, maybe you have some comments or questions or something. No? Alright, so let me change the color to black, like this, for this as well. So we have some big trend lines. Let me change the music. So we have some big trend lines on Cardano, which are very interesting. So first of all, this pivot trend line. Let me change it to black actually, like this. This pivot trend line, we go below it, we go above it a little bit, then we bounce off it again. It's very interesting, and if we connect these two highs, that this is exactly the point where we recently got rejected on this red trend line. However, I'm on the logarithmic scale. Let me change to normal. Might be looking different. Yeah, on the normal scale, it looks like we broke out of this trend line, and after this, after breaking it, it seems to be like a fake out, just because Bitcoin went down. This is the story. But maybe on the 4-hour chart we see something more. So this is the trend line I'm looking at right now. Let me make it thick. This big red trend line. Actually, let me remove this as well. So, okay, so we broke this trend line right here. we could actually trade it all the way up, because as soon as we saw Bitcoin going up. Now we're going down. I think, yeah. So what happened is this: we had this huge trend line, we broke above it, we pumped, and then we went down again and got caught up by these support lines. And now if they break, then we should find some nice support by this red support line at around $1.18. And if we break this, then it will be ugly for Cardano for some time. But so far we bounced and it's looking good. So yeah, what I'm looking for, as I said before I close it, I'm looking for these patterns to play out. So to complete, maybe it will be this head and shoulders, maybe it will be some kind of W. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, let's take a little look at VeChain. Yeah, on VeChain it's almost the same what Bitcoin did. We had also some rising wedge, we broke out of it, went up, and we went down and found support inside this this little wedge. Found support exactly at these levels. And we bounced. And we're back inside. Yes, basically we are back inside this rising wedge again. We couldn't even go higher than this. And in 1 minute and 15 seconds we will close the hourly. And probably we will close the hourly candle inside this rising wedge on VeChain. And yeah. Oh, actually it looks like a bullish divergence. So let's, okay, we have 47 minutes to go. So let me show you. We see some big bullish divergence on VeChain. These lows go higher, but these lows on the RSI go lower. You see? And this means that we might go up very well. But first we need to confirm this. Confirm this divergence. And how do we confirm it? I'm not 100% sure, but I believe we have to break some kind of resistance, maybe break this resistance and go higher from here. Anyways, just going higher, something like this would be, I think, would be a good confirmation that this divergence is valid. But maybe VeChain already has this divergence playing out. Very interesting. Very interesting. So it might go back up again. But once again, all these altcoins are super heavily dependent on Bitcoin. So if you want to trade, like day trade, altcoins, in my opinion, it's impossible to look only on the altcoin charts, because these charts are not as reliable, because they are heavily dependent on what Bitcoins are doing. Because, for example, if you see some trend lines here, and they break a trend line, breaks, and you think, oh, nice, I'm gonna trade it. Like, for example, we would have a double tap right here, it would break here, you open a trade, you think, oh, it will go all the way down to the bottom of this, for example. But then Bitcoin reverses, and Bitcoin goes up, and it drags everything with it up, so it will fake out. So if you trade altcoins, in my opinion, the very first thing to watch is the Bitcoin. You see what Bitcoin is doing. If it's going up, then you can look at the altcoins and trade them in the same direction. Okay, I'm back on the Bitcoin chart. Still see nothing super convincing. Okay, so VeChain is back inside this rising wedge, these pink lines. It's back inside it. Yeah, I don't see anything too convincing to trade right now. Maybe this could be a trend line. No, not really. Yeah, this trend line looks like it was broken on the 5 minute, and we went up for a bit, but we cannot break through this upper line of this rising wedge. So I think the most important levels to see for VeChain, if you want to day trade it or something, to scalp it, the most important thing to look for is this rising wedge. So we need to see some breaking out of this channel, either to the upside, very confidently to the upside, from out from this trend line, or down from this trend line. So from here or from here. But as long as we are inside it, of course you can try to short it right now, because it might bounce off of this top of the rising wedge. You can short it, but I don't think that it's very reliable, because it's all over the place. It might very well just do something like this. So I would wait for a breakout first. And in terms of buying it right now to hodl, if you buy right now, I think you will have to wait maybe a couple of months. Right now it's 0.07, like 7 cents. If you buy right now, maybe you will have to wait 1 week to see some big changes. But overall, if you think long term, VeChain buying right now, I think it's quite okay. Why? Because it went up so high. It was at its peak. It was, what was it? Let's see. What was the highest? It went all the way up to 27 cents. So 27 cents, and now we have 7 cents. Looks like a good price actually. And if we let's flip on the Fibonacci's. and see. Okay, so let's see what we can see on the Fibonacci. Oh. From the super low to the super high, we basically, oh, we went all the way there down to 78.6 or something. Let me switch them back on, these levels. So we need this 78.6, 7.5. Where is this? So we have the 78.6. Alright. And we went even lower. Okay. Alright. So on VeChain, on the daily chart, I think we can also draw some trend lines that might tell us the story. So this looks like an obvious support line. This is where we bounced off. It was actually very predictable that we wouldn't go lower than this, because you see here, but should we break it somewhere like here, then it's over, then it will be going much lower, but I don't think it will happen. So what else can we draw here? This trend line seems to have played out. What about this? Wait a second. Let me switch to logarithmic. Yeah, logarithmic. I like the logarithmic better. Okay. What else can we draw? Can we draw this line like this? Yeah, it makes sense. Let's switch to 4 hour. Yeah, it makes quite a bit of sense that it's like a falling wedge on the 4 hour. Yeah, on the 4 hour we can readjust it like this. It's a very nice falling wedge that we broke out of. Oh baby, Look at this. This looks very beautiful, at least on the logarithmic scale. So, okay, let me make it a little bit thinner, like this. I really like it. So we had this, on the 4-hour chart, we had this falling wedge, big ass falling wedge, going all the way up from our almost all-time highs. And yeah, we just broke out. V-chain is looking better than I thought on the macro scale. So we broke above it, we went up heavily, and at this point right here, all cryptos had a similar big ass long trend line, big ass resistance line. Bitcoin has also something similar which broke out. So they all broke out and they all went up and they all went down again. So, but actually, even if we go lower and hit this level, which might actually happen, or maybe this level, we might go up. So let's see where we can draw some support lines. This looks like a good support line right here. We have this touch point, this touch point. Do we have some touch points here? Kind of, not really. What else? This seems to be this seems to be a even stronger support line, because look at here, this level, we didn't go above it, we didn't go above it here. We have a wick here, we have a wick here, here a little bit of action. Let's go see to the left. So it looks like a good support level right here. A similar story with this one. Seems to be some kind of support, because of we have these weeks here a little bit, and okay, here not really. So anyways, I'm drawing this trend, these support lines to see how much lower it can retrace. So we broke out of this falling wedge on V-chain. Again, this is the falling wedge. We broke out of it. Now I'm asking myself how much lower we can go. So far we have found a very good support on our lower side of our rising wedge, which we broke out of. Seems to be a very good support, and this support is almost in alignment with another small support level, so it doesn't even have to go lower than this. Let's look at the Fibonacci. Oh, it's the other way around. So we went all the way up to here, and so far we went down to 38.2. It didn't even go lower. However, of course, we might always retrace to 0.5 and 68.2. which would be exactly, oh, it's very interesting. Actually, let me remove this trend line. Let me remove a couple of unnecessarily, okay, You don't really need this. So the retracements are often going to 61.8, which is this level, and it would be exactly one of the little support lines, because we bounced. It's one of the lows of this rising wedge, so we might find support here, and it's in a perfect alignment with 61.8. So yeah, even if we go down, probably not lower than this. This would be an area to buy if we retrace this low. And so far right now we just bounced off the 38.2, and if Bitcoins, so it all depends on Bitcoin, if Bitcoin doesn't drop lower from now on, then probably we will not even see these levels again, the 61.8. So if you want to buy VeChain right now, no financial advice, but this is what I would do. If you want to buy VeChain for long term to hodl, I would not go all in right now, because first we need to see what Bitcoin is doing. You could buy some partial, and you can do some partial investments, maybe 10 or 15%, and then just wait and see what Bitcoin is doing. If Bitcoin falls down, then you would be looking for this 61.8 levels of VeChain to bounce off, and so you could buy a little bit more right here. But basically you would have to watch Bitcoin. Of course, if you're thinking very long term, like in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, then right now it's a good time to buy VeChain. But if you want a discount, you might have to wait to hit it to 61.8, maybe 78.6. Okay, let's take a look at Ethereum. Let me see if we have some comments. No comments. Alright, Ethereum. Now, first, before that, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin, then we jump back to Ethereum. I just want to see what's happening right now at this very moment. 1 hour. Okay, nothing changed really. We are still waiting for some pattern to appear. For example, a double top like this, maybe. So break of this trend line would be a good short, or a W, something like this. Yeah, so nothing new right now. Okay, let's go back to Ethereum. Let's see what's happening here. And I need my coffee. I did not have coffee yet. I need my coffee. Oh, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. Wait, Fibonacci is just destroying my eyesight. Let me remove all this unnecessary stuff. Don't need all of that. None of that. We need the 78.6. Alright. Okay, looks better right now. So what did Ethereum do? After Bitcoin went up, Ethereum went up as well, but where did it go down to? Oh, you will not believe it. I love these trend lines. I absolutely love them. Look, we had this, if we go to 4 hour, I believe, we had this 4 hour king trend line. And it's also a X-ray line, because it slices through. X-ray, or in this case it's also a pivot trend line, because we just snake around it, kind of. So it's super important, this trend line, this red one, the King's trend line, and we bounced exactly at this support line, exactly on the logarithmic scale. Let's see what the normal scale does. Yeah, on the normal scale is similar story. It's very similar, but I think logarithmic is a little bit more accurate. So on the 4-hour chart on Ethereum, we have this huge big trend line going all the way back like 100 days, and then we retraced and bounced off exactly from this line this night, like 6 hours ago. Super interesting, yeah. On the 4-hour, and it was just below the 78.6, and the 4-hour closes were exactly at the 78.6. Super interesting, very cool. And my Fibonacci, probably I have to redraw it. Maybe it's not so perfect because we went even higher. So this was the swing high, and this was the lowest level if you draw it from here. So this looks more accurate actually, but it doesn't change much. So okay, we bounced off this big King trend line. So what's gonna happen next? We also bounced. We closed just at the 78.6, and let's see what's gonna happen. What might happen? Maybe we can draw some new trend lines. So we were on the Ethereum. We were moving kind of inside this little channel structure, these pink lines, and we broke below it. Ethereum overshoot it a little bit to the downside, so we broke below it, but thank God we were supported by this trend line, and now we probably can draw this trend line. Let's see. Okay. Oh, we even broke this trend line. Let me turn on the brain from music back. No. Cloudless Sky, I like this track. Nice atmospheric feeling. Okay, I'm looking on Ethereum. I'm looking for trend lines that we might be looking at. I think this is a good trend line to look for. This red trend. Let me make it black. Let's make it black. Let's make it black. Let's make it black. Yay, baby! So this is the trend line we probably should be watch out, look at, and maybe we can okay, so this looks like it's supporting us, and again we will have to wait for some patterns to appear, maybe something like this, and then if we break it we short it, and otherwise we just hope it to go up, to just bounce heavily from here. So if I would try to long it, I would look for something like this to appear, for some double bottom maybe, or you just go to 15 minutes and look for some other trend lines like this, but it looks weak, you know. These kind of trend lines, they are much stronger if they are more volatile. For example, if we would have this kind of price action, this touch point and then this, it's more volatile, and then it breaks, then it's bigger. But if we have something like this, it's kind of weak, or it's very weak trend line. Like here, for example, right now what we have is kind a little bit weak, you know, and after breaking out of it, we just go a little bit sideways, you know. So let's see, maybe we can draw something like this. Yeah, but it also looks weak to me. So for me, I don't see anything that screams at me, please trade me. No, I don't see it right now. I want something to appear, either something big like this, or something like this. Yeah, for example, if we so we had this channel, we were inside and we broke out of this channel, this pink line. Let me make it thicker. So we had this channel, we broke out of it. Now we found support here. If we go down like this and do something like this and then break here, then it would be a nice long. Or we can trade the bounce here, but I don't do it right now. Right now I trade only breakouts, not the bounces or reversals, because I don't know how to do it yet. So okay, nothing extremely convincing on the 15-minute or 1 hour to me to trade. Maybe there's something on 5 minutes. Yeah, it's basically the same line, but let's try it. Okay, it broke this trend line. We might be going in this direction, but it's not super convincing to me. Does not look super convincing. There. My goodness. Okay, what else? On the 5 minutes, we could be looking at this rising wedge. For super small scalp, we might be looking. So if you want to trade it, no financial advice. A super short scalp would be break above this. If we close about this level somewhere right here, we might be going higher. Maybe hit this levels. But of course, if you open it trade here after breakout, the short would be at least somewhere here. The stop loss. But we're still inside this rising wedge on the 5 minute. However, so if we break down of this rising wedge on Ethereum, so we are basically at the apex. You see, we are at the apex of this rising wedge, so something should happen very soon. then we might go down to this black support line, which would be how much percent? 1.6% approximately. Or if we break above it, and then we might go up to these levels or to the 200 moving average EMA. So it would be 1 or 2%. Actually, might be a nice scalp on the 5 minute if we break above or below this wedge. This is what I probably will trade. So I need my coffee, I need my breakfast right now, and if I don't miss it, then I might short it, of course. And if you short it, that's no financial advice. Please don't forget the stop losses. So for example, if we break here and we close 5 minutes above this upper trend line of the rising wedge, and you short from here, then your stop loss should be one of these previous lows, depending on your risk levels. So if you don't want to risk too much, maybe somewhere here, and the very least somewhere here, I think. So if we go up, oh my god, so if we break above it and then go down like this, it's pretty much confirmed that we are not going higher. So, or we would have to redraw this. So not a good sign if we go and slice through below it. And if you short it, if it breaks somewhere here, if you short it from here, then the stop loss should be somewhere here as well, at least, maybe even inside the channel. So that's it. If I don't miss it, I will probably trade it, but now I need some coffee and some breakfast, and then I'll be back maybe with another live stream, maybe some updates. Let's see if you have some questions. No? Alright. So that's it. That's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you again very soon.